Today is the first of a new series of videos I'll be supplementing my other videos with, and I'm calling it a closer look. And the purpose of this video is to take a closer look at some cool items or items that I picked up over the years that maybe I've even shared before, like these, but haven't really had enough time on the video because there's so many other things that either in that tool haul or just kind of got bypassed, or I didn't know what it was to talk about it. And I'll use this as a platform to kind of circle back on some of these cooler items. And if you remember, I picked up these items in a estate sale not too long ago. I bundled it in an old Craftsman Mechanics toolbox, and I got a really good deal on these. I think I paid $75 for everything in that haul, including a nice router table. And these items here I thought were just really cool, and I wanted to take a closer look with you today, as well as I feel like they definitely need to be cleaned up. And that first item here is this Vice Grip 7LW. It does have some engraving owner's marks on it there. These are made in the USA, and they are just a really unique head on them, right? Compared to a regular pair of vice grips, which I have here, which was also in that tool haul. And I'll clean these up as well as I'm going through this, just because I'll have the evaporust out. So I'm going to clean these up and give you a little bit of a closer look and the purpose of why it has this design, as well as this. Take a look at this cool Klein. This is a number 632, and it's, I don't know, they call it like an automatic nut driver, and it's definitely gummed up. So clean these up and we'll take a closer look at them. And here I'm just getting the heavy grease off, so that way I don't contaminate my evaporust and it makes it last a lot longer. Evaporust has a time and place, and here's a perfect place for it. When you have an item with all those nooks and crannies and trying to get inside the handles, it works perfectly. Whenever I pull an item out of the slop tank or evaporust, I love to just saturate it with a little WD-40 and displace all that water. And the business end of this nut driver had like flaking chrome coming off, which made it have a rough texture. So I went at it with the wire wheel, and what happened was it just kept flaking and flaking till I got this chrome plating off, and eventually took it down to the metal and then polished it up here with the fiber wheel. And I recently picked up this Flitz polish from video 357 Mag that did, where you could actually get 20% off using his promo code. So I'll put that in the link in the description of this video. And it's an all-purpose polish, and I just gave it a quick wipe down with this, and I was very happy with the results, and I did not go whole hog on it by any means. And then here I am just completing it with just a little bit of that royal purple, the maxi film, and that just is a great item for this. I just let it sit in all the nooks and crannies overnight. And then here I am, rinse, wash, and repeat, I believe is how the saying goes. And I'm just doing the same thing here with those two vice grips. And I am just very lightly wire wheeling these vice grips. They have such a wonderful finish, and it usually comes out great out of the evaporust. So just really squaring off the edges, getting in the teeth and getting any rust out, and some of the spots where it doesn't have that nice finish. And I don't mind owner's marks on tools, but this one just had owner's marks all over it, and it was easy enough to take off the ones that were on the jaw. So I just sanded them down here. And then I just hit it with the fiber wheel to take off the grinding marks. And one more time with the Flitz. Just a real quick wipe down, basically the way you would wax your car. Didn't go full 357 mag that on that by any means, and finished it up with the royal purple. Then anything that has a thread on it, what I like to do is just drop a little bit on the top, let it slide down, and it'll eventually lubricate it all the way down to the base. So my goal was not to go absolutely nuts with these, but just really put them in service. And I probably ended up going a little bit more overboard than I really wanted to. My intent was not to get into every single nook and cranny and clean it out, but that's kind of where I ended up with doing these. And the goal was just to kind of make them a serviceable tool. But hey, I didn't go all the way to the edge, but I pushed it pretty good, and I think they came out fantastic. Look at these things. I mean, these are some old tools, and they came out fantastic. So let's take a closer look at the Klein screwdriver first. Look how nice that handle came out. It was just covered in grease, and it just cleaned it up. You can see the Made in USA. I love these rubber handles, too. I think they're great. And you can see that's really scrubbed up well with that metal polish as well. All right, let's show you how it works. So the way this works is you know, when you go onto a bolt with it, it'll actually tighten up, and then you could turn it. And this is a 7/16 bolt, and that's what it'll stay at. And then obviously as you squeeze it, it will go down to a smaller bolt, which I'll show you in a second here. But I want to demonstrate here is how cool this is. I mean, if you're an electrician and you got this in your pouch, what a fantastic universal nut driver you have. And what I'm doing here is just spinning to show you, I mean, look how deep this can go before you, I mean, look, and it could go more. You can pretty much go down to the length of from here to here before it'll bottom out on you. And I know nut drivers usually do have a like a hollow shaft, and this is essentially what this is to an extent. I mean, look at this. I'm up there pretty far, and it still hasn't bottomed out. And then let me show you how it would work on a smaller type bolt. So obviously you'd go in there, you push it, see how that engages it, and then the same concept, you would just spin it up. So came out great. You can see I took all the flakes off of it. Just a really unique tool. They're not cheap. You can still find these new old stock. I want to say, I don't remember, $30, $40. I'll put it up in the video here so you could see on eBay. They do sell them still, new old stock, but even used, that you could find these, and they're not super cheap either. So I think they're going for about 20 bucks used. So if you're interested in one of these, it's just a great thing to have. They don't make them no longer. Not that I'm aware of it, that I could find. It seems like they were discontinued a while back. All right, now let's take a closer look at these vice grips. Are they cool or what? So I wish I had these when I did this vice restoration a few weeks ago. And if you haven't seen my video on this, check it out. I think it came out pretty cool. It was pretty beat up. But I had to get out these support bars in here. And what I used to get them off, because they were in there so tight, it was heat, and I was banging on them, and I used a pair of vice grips, and the vice grips really dug in there and marred up these pretty good, and I had to grind them for a bit to get the marks out and take a lot of material off. If I had used these, that would have not been the case. Let me show you an example. So what I got here is a piece of aluminum round stock, basically the same diameter, which I just showed you on that vise. If I had used these, look how this, and listen to this. I mean, that's on there. I mean, I got this clamped on there, can't move, and watch this. I'm going to take it off here, and you're going to see. I mean, there's no marks. The slightest little thing that I could take out with a piece of, you know, a little bit of sandpaper. I'm going to crank these up as tight as I can get them and see if it marks it. I mean, I just turned it 2 more turns, and it really is on there. And let's see. No marks because of the way this is. So that is, I wish I had these a few weeks ago. That would have saved me about, I don't know, probably 30 minutes of grinding. Let's see some other uses. Well, a couple of other things people like to use these for is cooling lines, nuts, bolts. It seems to work really well for stripped out fasteners and nuts. Just look how you could get that in there. It just fits. It cinches so nicely. And then boom, man, that is tight. You could still get these new, and that's where I was reading the reviews, and it gets great reviews, and they're actually pretty reasonable. They go for about, I don't know, $12 to $15, $16, depending on where you get them from. Obviously not made in the USA anymore. You could buy these used on eBay, And I want to say they're going, I seen them as cheap as 15 bucks up to maybe $35 shipping. And they come in different lengths. This is the 7LW. That stands for 7-inch. They also make a smaller one, which is 4-inch. And they also make a 10-inch model. And I said you could buy these in a 3-pack used and made in the USA. And they're consistently going for over $100. So if you see a set of these, hey, even if you wanted to buy the Chinese-made ones, they're not so bad. The vice grips, even their Chinese-made stuff, is made to pretty good standards, but, you know, nothing like these USA ones that were made in Nebraska. All right, let's take a look at the last vice grip here, and we'll wrap this video. So, like I said, this video was really meant to take a closer look at what I think are cool, 2 unique items that you don't see all that often. But, hey, this was in that pick, and I had the Evaporust open, and look how nice these came out. This is an older pair of vice grips, 10R. The R, I believe, stands for the regular jaw. That's the flat jaw versus what I show you here, which is the CR and a little bit more of the curved jaw. These are more newer. I call these like a dolphin head. They remind me of a dolphin's head for whatever reason. And you can see as they came out, and they got newer, they were just a little bit more streamlined. And just to share with you, a really cool old, this is a number 10 before there was even a curved jaw that was ever made. This is from 1942, I believe that says. Either 42 or 49 is the patent on there. Is that cool or what? So one day I'll clean these up, but that's how long vice grips were going around. Imagine you had a set of these, a pair of these in 1940s. I mean, you think you could take on anything and fix anything. And you got to tell me in the comment section below. I mean, you're going on a road trip or you're stranded on an island and you could only take 3 tools with you. You're definitely taking a vice grip with you. I mean, Van pliers don't have nothing, in my opinion, on a set of vice grips. But I don't have a pair of Van pliers, so maybe I shouldn't say that. But hey, I've been using these to take out stripped fasteners. That's why I don't have a pair of Van pliers, because I've always used a pair of vice grips. Then the last thing on here are the owner's marks. And I did not make an effort to take these off. I mean, I hit it lightly with the wire wheel to clean it up, and that's a really nicely well done. I don't have a problem with owner's marks overall. I respect them. I mean, these are people's tools, right? They got to make a living with them. You don't want other people running off with them. I know when I worked in a shop, we were always, looking for tools. A lot of people use the same tools. Sometimes it's not even intentional, but hey, your tools end up somewhere else. And I even the people that grind their tools, I take a little bit of exception to that, put notches in it, but hey, that's how they make a living. So if that's what they want to do with their tools, more power to them. It's just disappointing for me when I come across them 20, 30, 40, and in some of these cases, 50 and 80 years later. All right, guys, so hopefully you enjoyed seeing these tools. They're not super uncommon, but they're kind of unique. And if you have them, have experience with them, please let me know in the comment section below. Really appreciate your support. Please like and subscribe. And remember, the world has enough guys, so be a man. See you at the next one. Thanks for watching.